talk at your table, whether there's just one or two of you, or five or six of you, talk at your table just for a minute or two about, so what does that have to do with school today? What did you just see, and what do you know about kids? Because you're around kids of varying ages. What's this say about school today?
Gotta have it all.
Yep. Is the technology there at school for me? I think there's a belief that a lot of that technology is before then.
Well, I think it is. I think that's true to the point.
But I mean, they need to still learn how to think.
Right. Yeah.
How do you still think that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always because there are kids that
can't do it on paper.
You gotta have the basics to really think it through.
What do you guys think? What's the implication for school? What do schools need to think about today?
How to
more technology,
but still maintain the basics. I mean,
absolutely.
Still have to learn how to think
Yep.
and problem solve.
What we hear, and if you want something that makes you really think, we have more than half of our teachers right now reading a book called The Global Achievement Gap, and the subtitle is Why Even Our Best Schools Don't Teach the New Survival Skills Our Kids Need, and What We Can Do About It. It's talking about high levels of communication, so it means that reading and writing and math are still absolutely fundamental. About world citizenship, not American citizenship, but world citizenship. It's talking about math in terms of global economy, not just of your county or of your state. Problem solving, ingenuity. It talks about creating things from the fact that being an innovator, an inventor. Inventing can be ideas. It isn't just some piece of some equipment, but ideas are inventions often. And it's talking about kids that can innovate and communicate and problem solve and have high levels of being able to talk, collaborate, and communicate. So they can describe their thinking, they can think aloud about how they problem solve. That's the kind of workforce that's needed, because as Tony Wagner talks, the $7 an hour jobs, lots of them are on pieces of technology that, you know, when I call because something's the matter with the TV and the dish programs in my name, not my husband's, and they won't deal with him but me. Why he signed us up that way, I'm not sure. So when Al Kudoff calls Dish, they won't talk to him. But if I call and say it's Barb Kudoff, the person I'm speaking to does not speak English. Okay, that's not their native language, and they are not in this country answering that phone call. They are in India answering that phone call. Okay, because they will work for whatever that pay might be. If you want another challenge of something to read, the first piece, anything like this that I read, was Thomas Friedman's Flat World. And it just talks about the world and the economy of the world and how tied to each other we are. And we know that today. So work in school has to look just a little different, and then our kids need us to present it to them in different ways. Because a bad lecture in a classroom isn't any better on videotape or any better on a vodcast, but it's got to be more about how do we use knowledge. And very little kids know that you can do a Google search. Our youngest grandson's 5, and he knows if he wants to look up hockey, he thinks you spell it H-O-C-E. But you know, if you put H-O-C-E in Google, it will jump right to H-O-C-K-E-Y. And he's like, see? And our daughter said to us she thought all he needed was a credit card, and he's just a credit card away from being a problem, and he's 5. He's not in school yet. And he's not on a computer all that much, but their parents are computer literate. Your kids are tech able, way more than probably you and Jody are. And then put them in a classroom that I might teach, and I'm 61, so what kind of ramping up do I have to do? So one of the things that the 21st century skill sets, as well as Iowa Core is saying, this instruction has to change the way it looks in the classroom. This is a chance for reform in what schools look like, but you never give up the core instruction of science, social studies, math, reading, written language. Those all have to be embedded, but it happens in a much different way, and that's quite hard for our staff to accept. Quite hard, because lots of people are pretty ingrained in how they teach. It's really based on inquiry instruction and problem-based learning or project-based learning.